Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. If you provide services under DODD or work as a DSP or support someone who does, this update is for you. We're going to break down what Ohio's newest state budget proposal means for provider funding and DSP wages. Spoiler alert, there are no raises included in the current budget proposal, even though the state is dedicating $122 million in new state funding, which is super confusing, I know. But I'll explain why in just a minute. And just a heads up, this budget proposal still has a long way to go before it's finalized. At a high level, the process looks like this. Governor DeWine proposed his budget back in February. The Ohio House made changes and passed its version, and that's what we're talking about today. The Ohio Senate is up next, and they'll introduce their own changes to the budget. Then a conference committee gets together and works out the differences between the House and the Senate versions. And then finally, the governor must sign the final budget into law, which has to happen by 11:59 p.m. on June 30th of this year. So to reiterate, nothing is set in stone yet. This is just the latest that we know right now. So for a little bit of background, what happened last time? In the last state budget, which covered 2024 and 2025, Ohio made a historic investment in DSP wages. The state raised provider reimbursement rates significantly with a goal of raising average statewide DSP wages to $18 an hour in 2024 and $19 an hour in 2025. To make that possible, the budget used a mix of state funding and one-time federal funds from the American Rescue Plan Act, often called ARPA. If you recall, ARPA was a federal relief package passed during the pandemic to help states recover while the world was melting down around us. It gave states extra money for things like healthcare, economic recovery, and support for essential workers, including direct service providers. As such, Ohio used a portion of its ARPA funding to boost wages for DSPs. In fiscal year 25 alone, Ohio used approximately $80 million in ARPA funds to help pay for those increased wages. But here's the catch. ARPA dollars were temporary, and they actually expired at the end of March. That means that unless reimbursement rates are rolled back to where they were before, the state needed to figure out a way to replace those ARPA funds. So to make sure DSP wages don't take a hit when that ARPA money runs out, the state is increasing its own funding to keep the reimbursement rates elevated. In fact, the current House budget proposal calls for an increase of over $122 million from the state's general revenue fund in fiscal year 26 for DODD services. That's an increase of about 12% from the current year. That extra money goes to ensure that the same $18 to $19 an hour target for DSP wages remains possible, even after the federal funds dry up. Now, as far as for what isn't yet in the bill, right now there are no new wage increases scheduled beyond what came out last January and July. The situation isn't unique to the DODD community. The pandemic and the influx of one-time ARPA funding has created this scenario all across the nation where government leaders are having to work really creatively to sustain the services and expansions that were supported by ARPA funding that has since lapsed. I, for one, was very grateful to see that our state legislature appears to have that piece ironed out so we don't have to worry about our reimbursement rates being reduced. It'd certainly be great to see a couple modest cost of living increases built in over the next biennium, and advocates have been pushing for that, but time will tell as this budget trudges forward through the rest of the process. Thanks for watching and for everything you do to support the DODD community. We'll keep tracking the budget and bring you updates along the way. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone it might help. Until next time, take care.